Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to 3 News Now. Today is Tuesday, November 9th. I'm Stephanie Haney. Thank you for being here for the top stories from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. We start off with a bit of success that the state of Georgia has had, well, really the federal authorities have had, in finding a fugitive hiding in the Akron area. This Georgia suspect was found in an Akron attic, a 29-year-old man. He's wanting for a deadly shooting that took place in Georgia about 7 months ago. Well, he was found on Monday night. The Akron division of the Northern Ohio Violent Fugitive Task Force found the person and arrested Jonte Williams. That's the man's name. He is wanted for murder and aggravated assault by law enforcement in Georgia. They've been searching for him. The arrest warrants had been issued 2 months ago. Now, he is accused of fatally shooting a person named Demetrius Daniel in April of this year. He's accused of having shot at Daniel and another victim from a moving car. Daniel died. The other victim survived. So he was found again on Monday. He was hiding in the attic of a home on Caroline Court in Akron. He will stay in custody now in Summit County before being extradited back to Georgia, and that's where the criminal process will take its course from there, and he will stand whatever process confronts him for those accusations. Now, this story is absolutely wild. It is out of California. You all are clicking on it here in Northeast Ohio because it is such a wild story, and not a great wild story. There were 2 couples who had been raising the wrong children in California. This is after an embryo mix-up happened. So if you're not familiar with what an embryo is, this is the stage in an IVF process where a sperm and an egg come together. That creates an embryo. Well, it was out of a fertility clinic in California that 2 embryos were mixed up. 2 couples gave birth to each other's babies after this mix-up. They raised them for several months before a DNA test confirmed that they had actually been raising not the child that they had intended to be raising. This is according to a lawsuit that was filed on Monday in Los Angeles. So this happened in late 2019. This happened at the Los Angeles-based California Center for Reproductive Health, CCRH. It's owned by Dr. Aliran Moore. One of the women involved, Daphna Cardinal, said her and her husband Alexander had suspected that there might have been an issue because the child didn't look like them. The child had a different complexion. She described it as a darker complexion, but they didn't pursue it right away because they said they loved the child, they fell in love with the child, and they had trusted their doctors and they had trusted the IVF process. Well, it was confirmed. When it was confirmed, Daphne said that she was overwhelmed by feelings of fear, betrayal, anger, heartbreak, that she's been experiencing enduring trauma from it. She was robbed of the ability to carry her own child. She never had the opportunity to grow and bond with the child during pregnancy, to feel her kick, and those kinds of things. Now, both of these babies, both girls, were born a week apart in September of 2019. According to the lawsuit, the Cardinals, including a young daughter, there's another young daughter involved in this, absolutely fell in love with the child, were terrified that she'd be taken away from them. And all the while, they didn't know what had happened to their actual embryo. They were terrified that another person had become pregnant with their child and the child was out in the world somewhere without them. It was confirmed where that embryo went, and those babies were swapped back in January of 2020 after they were a few months old. So now, the fertility clinic is being sued for medical malpractice, breach of contract, negligence, and fraud by the Cardinals, and they are demanding a jury trial seeking unspecified damages, but those damages will certainly be an incredible number. No comment from the clinic. The 2 other parents involved in this alleged mix-up, they wish to remain anonymous, but they are planning a similar lawsuit. That's according to attorney Adam Wolf, who is representing all 4 parents. Just incredible. You know, this has happened before. It's quite rare, but it has happened before. But when it does happen, you can expect that fertility clinic is going to have to pay big bucks for all of that emotional trauma and physical trauma, quite frankly, that everyone has undergone. Now, to a bit of a sweeter story. Our former anchor here at Channel 3, Robin Swoboda, she has become diagnosed with cancer again, but that's not the thing that she's going to remember about this summer. What she's going to remember about this summer is the pig roast, where she met what she's calling an incredible man. He asked her out. She told him that she had cancer again, and he said, all right. His name is Rob Weinbrenner, and according to Robin Swoboda, not many things scare him. He's a retired Barberton police officer, and he is no stranger to what Robin is going through. He said that he told her about his wife, his late wife, she had cancer and she didn't make it. Robin says that she has been waiting for this man, for Rob Weinbrenner, Robin, how about that she's been waiting for him her entire life. And it was on her third date, by the way, that he actually might have saved her life, because he rushed her to University Hospital's emergency room because she had a dangerous reaction after her first round of chemotherapy. She ended up spending 3 days in the ICU. Robin says he's seen her at her worst. He took her to the ER. She said he knows her weight. He knows her sodium numbers. He has seen it all, and he keeps coming back. She calls it just crazy. And Rob says he's very much in love with her. He said he doesn't remember exactly when he first told her that he loved her, but he thinks that it was in the ICU. So over the next 8 weeks, Robin will be undergoing her chemotherapy, and Rob will be right beside her, walking the dogs or binging Netflix, and he has told her that she will not be alone. He said he wants to be her partner in this. He wants to be part of the whole thing. And her first question was, well, you're not just doing this because you feel sorry for me, right? And he says, no, I'm doing this because I love you. So throughout all of this, Robin Swoboda has found new love, and we are very happy for her. And she's been keeping us up to date on social media while she progresses through her treatment for this round of cancer, and we wish her the absolute best, and Rob will be there with you, and so will all of us, to the extent that you want to share that journey with us. Robin Swoboda, truly incredible woman. Now let's take a look at the latest COVID-19 numbers in from the Ohio Department of Health. In the last 24 hours, there have been 4,952 new reported cases of COVID-19. Right now, the total number of reported deaths is at 25,282. Currently, 2,386 people are being treated in the hospital for COVID-19, and out of those people, 661 of them are being treated in the ICU. And there are 2 more people in Cleveland who have just tested positive for COVID-19 who are vaccinated, and they are Cleveland Browns players. They are Cleveland Browns running back Nick Chubb and running back Demetric Felton. We have learned that they tested positive for COVID-19 today. That's according to ESPN's Adam Schefter. Now, since they are both vaccinated, they might be able to play on Sunday against the New England Patriots, which is going to be a big game for the Cleveland Browns. Now, of course, first and foremost, we are concerned about their health. They are vaccinated, they are young, they are athletes, so all signs point to, since what the medical experts have told us, that they should be okay without any severe complications. Of course, there are outliers, things do happen, but first and foremost, their health is of the concern. But it is possible they may be able to play on Sunday because, according to the NFL's COVID-19 protocols, if a player is vaccinated, they can return to action after testing negative for COVID-19 twice. So if those players, if Nick Chubb and Demetric Felton test negative for COVID-19 between now and Sunday, they will be able to play. Now, this is after yesterday the Browns placed reserve running back Joshua Kelly on the COVID-19 list. So what does that mean? That means D'Ernest Johnson, who had a great game week 7 over in the win over the Broncos, he's actually Cleveland's only available running back, which is not what we want to hear or what we want to see as we head into what is an important game. They're all important games at this point, as we're in the back half of the season, taking a look at what the playoff chances will be for the Cleveland Browns. Now, if Chubb can't play against the Patriots on Sunday, that would be tough for the Browns offense. You don't need me to tell you that. That would not be great, because the Browns are also without, most likely, still running back Kareem Hunt. He is still recovering from an ankle injury. Good news for the Browns today for Wyatt Teller. He has been signed to a 4-year contract extension. Now, he was set to be a free agent after this season, but he now will stay in Cleveland through at least 2025. Now, he's in his 3rd year with the team, and he was one of the NFL's biggest breakout players actually last season. He really led the way on the Browns' revamped offensive line and has been pretty excellent in the season as of late, after a bit of a slow start here in 2021. Here's what Teller said. He says it's been a long road. He said he faced adversity. He was drafted later than you'd think he would be. The 5th round is when he was drafted. Then he had an opportunity, tried to make the most of it, but then he got traded, and he was disappointed when he got traded, he said. But he said, then you realize that you're wanted by another team in another city, and he was given an opportunity, and luckily he was able to make the most of it. And that's pretty much what General Manager Andrew Berry said today. He said that it was a real testament to the way Teller had come onto the scene, and he had really changed his body, orchestrated himself to be competitive, to get that starting spot for the Cleveland Browns, and they are really happy to have him on through 2025. Now, if you're a high school football fan, we have your guide to every regional semifinal matchup involving Northeast Ohio schools in the Ohio High School Athletic Association's football playoffs. We are 2 weeks into the football playoffs, by the way. So the field is really kind of starting to take its shape. Now there were that expanded bracket to start, which had some teams with some not so great records in the playoffs because they had doubled it from 8 to 16 in those regions. But now the remaining spots are pretty much filled by top seed, except for Division II with Worcester, the number 14 seed going in. They are still competing there. Now, with the regional semifinals coming this weekend, we have 34 teams that are still standing from our 17-county viewing area here at 3 News. So this round, all games will be played at a neutral site. So those neutral sites are listed next to each matchup on WKYC.com. And we have a list of all of the games involving our local schools this week, and those that are being played at a neutral site that's in our area, for example, in Parma, which is not too far from Cleveland here in the Northeast Ohio area, those are listed in bold. The locations that are nearby, if you maybe want to catch one of these games, listed in bold. And if you want to catch a Cavaliers game, right now it's not a bad time. They are 7-4 on the season, so our 3 News sports analyst Ben Axelrod has been taking a look at why the Cavaliers are for real this 2021-2022 season. A big one is through the first 11 games of his NBA career, Evan Mobley has really lived up to the hype. He was drafted from USC, and he has already drawn comparisons to Hall of Fame forward Kevin Garnett. He's averaging almost 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 1.2 blocks. He was the number 3 pick in the NBA draft, and he has really raised Cleveland's caliber on both the offensive and the defensive side of the ball. His defense really stood out, and that's really helping him shape up to be potentially Rookie of the Year worthy campaign material. For more on why the Cavs are pretty legit this year, head to WKYC.com and see that from our 3 News sports analyst, Ben Axelrod. And I told you yesterday that it's Cleveland Pizza Week, right? It's almost a crime that this is happening at the same time. It's also Cleveland Restaurant Week. This actually spans 2 weeks, and it's more than Cleveland. It goes beyond Cleveland. There are places in Akron, Beechwood, Sandusky, Medina, Rocky River, all kinds of places that are participating. What it is are 3-course meals for $36. That is before tax, and that is before tip. Very important, that before tip part, very important. As someone who has worked in the service industry, which is something I think that all of us should have to do, just keep that in mind, and remember, you are getting a meal at a discounted price. So I've said my piece off my soapbox about the tipping scenario. But that is happening now through November 13th. So if you want to get in on some new places that maybe you haven't tried before, you can get some of those fancier places for a little bit nicer of a price. 3 courses, $36. We've got the whole rundown on WKYC.com. And remember, now through Sunday, also Pizza Week here in Cleveland. There's a lot of places. There's 38 places where you can get an $8 pizza. That's on WKYC.com as well. And before we go, we will celebrate the national treasure that is Betty White. And if you love Betty White, like so many people do, and really, why wouldn't you? You may be interested in a special way to celebrate her upcoming 100th birthday. She's going to be 100 years old on January 17th. And so in order to celebrate that, Choice Mutual Insurance is offering one lucky Betty White superfan the opportunity to watch 10 hours of her TV and film clips to celebrate that birthday. You'll win $1,000 if you do that. You'll also get a DVD player to watch it. And yeah, it's a pretty good deal. You do have to do it within 24 hours, and you've got to document your Betty White binge on social media. But who wouldn't want to do that? So if that's your dream job, we've got the link to apply on WKYC.com before November 22nd at 5 p.m. Eastern. That's your deadline, and you will, you'll be told, within 14 days whether you have been selected. And once you're told, by the way, you've got 5 days to respond. So got to move quick on this because there's a lot of Betty White super fans out there. Betty White, we're not sure how she'll celebrate her 100th birthday, but we do know before she was running a mile a day. Love that. Keep that up, Betty White. But that was a little bit curtailed because of COVID. So last year, she was working on getting the Pet Set re-released, which is a great Betty White classic. If you are not familiar, you have to Google that and check that out. And also feeding 2 ducks that come visit her every day. So looking forward to see how Betty White rings in 100 on January 17th, 2022. That's it for your 3 News Now update today for Tuesday, November 9th. I will see you back here tomorrow with more 3 News Now.